What's going on, everybody? Kenny here, also known as Silent Fan 85. Welcome to another vlog. Um, I'm going to warn you, this may run long. There's something I've been fascinated with, but there's a couple of notes before I get to talking about it. A couple of warnings. It's going to get very deep, um, fairly borderline religious, and also macabre, kind of dark too. So bear with me. But I have been fascinated over since my father's death in a curious way, I should say. Been fascinated with death. Sounds weird, right? Sounds a little dark, a little ominous. Truth is, um, it's been obviously we get curious about death. We get curious about what happens when we die. What ideology do we subscribe to? What religion do we follow? What practices do we put into play with our death? And I've been mulling it over in my head for the last few years. For those that don't know, I grew up religious. I was raised that way, and the idea never really um, fit with me. I I had a realization one day that it just it, it didn't make sense. You know, whatever religion you may follow, that's fine. But for me, what does make more sense and what has, I believe, in unfounded ways as of yet, um, a scientific basis is the Gaia theory. The Gaia theory, in a nutshell, um, suggests or theorizes that the planet, just specifically the planet, I can't really speak for the universe, but for the planet, operates off a flow of energy, whether it be electrical impulses, flow of nature, whatever it may be. We're all connected by it on a atomic or what I believe to be a subatomic level. Again, I'm not a scientist. I'm not trained on this shit, but I think about this stuff, and I don't know. It feels like there's some truth to it. Um, it may not be an entity that I believe in. It may not be a god per se, but I do believe that we do rejoin whatever flow that may be when we pass away. I also believe, getting a little out there, I also believe that we are there could be remnants of us left behind as electrical impulses that are part of that energy network, which is where we may or may not get spirits from, good, evil, benign, whatever. So, yes, I do believe in that supernatural for the most part. What I don't really adhere to is a hierarchy to the so called spiritual realm, as a word. But again, I think it's all energy based. Um, and some theories do scientifically kind of back that up. So, but I don't think that there is a hierarchy to the whole system. I think there's a natural order in ways, but there's that. So anyway, ever since Dad's death, I've been fascinated with what do we do with our lives? What do we leave behind? What do we just live through this life? Do we just proliferate, have kids, have a family? Yay! Obviously, those people matter, but they're to to those individuals. That's obviously very important. To those people, that's obviously very important. Um, Soldiers pass away overseas doing what they believe to be as honorable and what it is done. And obviously, there's great honor in that for giving yourself for your country. Um, and I have military in the family. And I see what the military has done. Again, this video may have a bunch of red flags. Let me just say right out, if you're going to leave comments, make sure they're decent, okay? But there's many ways that we pass. And I'm going to get away from the military aspect for a bit. But with that said, I love our military, man. People dedicate their lives to protecting our country, our ways of life. I believe there are times in our country to where sometimes it's not exactly the right way to do it, and we take these soldiers for granted, like they're pieces on a chessboard. I fucking hate that. But these people dedicate their lives, these patriots, in a word, give their lives and dedicate their lives to protecting what they believe is right. And I will always be thankful for that. So there's that. But moving on, people live their lives and then they pass away. We are the heirs of millions upon millions of people that have lived before us. We are a part of a pattern of survival. We are a part of thriving. And I think, just my opinion, I think we might be getting to a point, at some point, where we're probably thriving too much and asking too much of where we live, how we live, how we do things. Humanity is capable of learning and growing, but we also have a bad habit of throwing stuff away like it means nothing, you know, natural resources, so on and so forth. But anyway, moving on. We multiply. We have families, we have kids, and then, we pass on. To me, I think part of what I've been going through with relationships, having kids, and when my life turned around, um, that doesn't feel like me. Of course, there are people out there that will attest that, well, you feel that way now, but if you ever have kids, it changes. That's fair, because obviously my life is now dedicated to my offspring. But right now, I don't know. I just, it's funny. Growing up religiously, there's the way I was raised, you had a calling to spread a message, to, you know, spread the word and all this and that. There is something to that, though, in there. I mean, there's something to every story, a grain of truth in every story, no matter what it may be, religious story, fable, fairy tale, whatever. I think that we all seem to have a drive to want to do something with our lives, whether it's have kids, get married, charity work. There are criminals that feel that they're great at being criminals, so they stick with it, that whole thing. But for me, my father had a calling religiously, and he followed it through and through. He followed it. He was a man dedicated to his work, and he felt that. Now, I felt it, but unfortunately for me, it just kind of fell out. But what remains is a drive to do something with my life, as we all go through. That's kind of where this channel comes into play. And that's kind of where this channel, depending on how my life goes, will be my legacy. It's funny, a little bit back, over the years anyway, I've made a few videos touching on this, how we leave behind a digital ghost of ourselves. Especially if you're a content creator, if you're a YouTuber, streamer, so on and so forth. And I have done things with this channel and on this channel. Unfortunately, some of it has been lost over the years because of myself, or it got deleted, or it got removed, blocked, whatever. But I've done some awesome things with this channel. So I leave, if let's just say, hypothetically, I were to somehow pass away tomorrow or tonight. I mean, I've done things that I'm proud of. I've reached out to people. I've helped a few people. People have opened up to me. I've made new friends, even if I never meet them in real life. I've met their digital essence, talked with them word for word, shared thoughts, shared experiences, and left behind this, So in some ways, I think I've fulfilled that drive that I had to spread a good message, to share experiences with people, to open up a bit. And while my humor, one thing I do regret is that my humor in person is much more developed and much more um, better in person than it translates to on camera. That is one thing I regret. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm funny on camera off and on, but um, in real life, look, I pride myself on my humor. I find humor in a lot of stuff, and the puns and the dad jokes and the delivery. It's a science. There's a science to it, and any pro comedian will tell you that it's all about timing. It's all about delivery and whatnot. So I do leave that behind whenever I do rejoin the Earth. I sound like a hippie, but so be it. Um, so getting back to it, we live our lives, we grow old, and then we pass away, and then it just keeps going and going and going and going. Thus is the cycle of life. With that said, there are creatures that have broken that cycle, that literally recycle themselves. There's a jellyfish, basically immortal. It rejoins itself, it regrows. Um, there are creatures that live a long time. But we as humans are this greater sentient um, beings that we are, although stupid as hell sometimes. Um, we leave things behind that only really seem to mean the most to us, if that makes sense. These things, the things that we leave behind, only really seem to matter to us. Whether we're talking as a species or in our personal lives to family and friends, but our overall impact on the planet. What good have we done for where we come from? And even more so, what can we do? I posted on Facebook one time, and again, this is fairly religious, but I asked some uh, fellow friends and family, I asked friends and family that were religious. I said, in religious teachings, it's said that we're only here temporarily on this planet. This planet is only a holding space for those that are rejoining the afterlife. With that kind of mentality, where do the drives for saving the planet or helping the planet, is that part of it? What do you, how do you calculate that? Because if we're only here temporarily, what do you do for the long term? Does that mean that you care about the planet enough to want to take care of it, or are you just waiting until the day you rejoin? And again, it gets darker than that because it's just like, obviously there are rules in religion that you don't want to kill yourself because you won't go straight to where you want to go. You'll go to the opposite. So in the mentality, where does that put the natural place that we come from, the earth, but we're going to rejoin an afterlife? What does it say about taking care of it? Obviously in the Bible, there are certain scriptures. That's how I was raised on the Bible. Other religions might say otherwise, but there are scriptures that say to be guardians of the planet kind of thing and to take care of it. Right. So again, that leaves me with the question of death. What do we leave behind? Where do we go when we realize, or where do we go from the point of when we realize that death is inevitable? What we leave behind can be very important for those around us. But even greater still, if everybody is in that mindset of 99% of the population are just within that mindset of their own little realm, what do we do for the greater impact? And what do we leave behind for that? That's where I have hope for myself, because again, the channel and the things that I talk about on here, the ideas I put out, the stuff I talk about, the personal experiences, I hope that it stays up for a long time to come. Hopefully far after I pass, even if it's 30, 40 years from now. It's a hope. There's no guarantee that my digital ghost will stay for a while, because you never know what can happen, especially with YouTube. YouTube's fucking random when it comes to copyright and all that bullshit. But So there's that. That's that's some of the stuff that I think about, and stuff I've been fascinated with death. I've been fascinated about what I'm constantly thinking about it, and it's not like I'm planning anything. This is not a cry for help, but even more so since I lost one of the major pillars in my life, which is one of my parents, and I think about what he dedicated his life to, that meant the most to him, and how he raised his family. What am I doing? And again, it's stuff I brought up before, but now it's even more amplified about what am I doing. So, it's crazy, man. The whole concept of death is just all encompassing. Everything dies. Asterisk. 99.9% of things die. Again, the jellyfish. um, but the rocks, trees, space dust, it all lives on. We're all a part of it. So I guess in some way we are fairly immortal. Maybe not consciously immortal, but we are a part of it, aren't we? Or we're part of everything. Forget it, just take away. I know I've spoken about it, but take away the religious aspect, take away the human spirit, take away the Gaia theory, whatever. Break down our bodies biologically when we pass away, even if we're cremated. We rejoin this whole cycle again. We're all a part of that, whether we like it or not. No matter what you believe, no matter where you come from, we all pass away. We all rejoin the universe in some way, biologically, because you cannot destroy matter. It can only be, changed or manipulated. The whole thing, I don't know exactly how that goes, but it's just a rule of physics. Matter can only be changed. It can't be fully destroyed. For me, there is some, what's the word I'm looking for? Some serenity in that. Because, nature, the universe in and of itself, doesn't care. Honestly, it really doesn't care. You're still a part of it. It doesn't care what you do. It doesn't care who you are, how much money you have, how much money you don't have, what you do for humanity, whatever you don't do for humanity. At the base level, we're all still a part of it. Some people may see that and think, what the hell does that matter? To me, that's a big deal. I find serenity in that. I find some calm in that. Um, and again, that may sound weird, but been thinking and reflecting and where I'm at. So it's pretty awesome, I think, overall. Again, despite whatever ideologies you may follow or practice religiously or whatnot, we're all a part of this world. Whether we're here temporarily or, you know, we're here for the long run. However, you're living your life, you're living your life. And whatever we do makes it better. And it works on multiple levels: universal, planetary, our own little planet, our own little universe or realm of friends and families. I'm hoping that even if it's random strangers on this human created interwebs, the pipes underneath the ground, um, that somewhere along the way and in the futures to come, in the years to come, I left an impact on somebody. Now that I think about it, I touched on this after after Dad died. I did a quick video, quickie talking about it, and I had to, just like I'm doing now, saying this is not a cry for help, just talking about it, and you know, much like other people, religious leaders or whatnot, they try to bring people in, give them a good word, help them feel wanted, liked. I hope, even with as flaky and flighty as I can be with this channel, let's face it, I am. I try to do what I can, but as a hobbyist, it's hard to keep promises sometimes. Sometimes. Um, I hope I've shown that no matter who you may be, whatever you may be, whatever you may like, that it's okay to wonder, it's okay to challenge, it's okay to share your views with the world. even if you're guarded about it or if you're kind of a bit of an open book like I've been. Um, there are downsides to that. There are downsides to sharing your life in an open forum as this is, because friends and family, whoever you may be involved with in a relationship with, they have to accept that. And it's not easy. In fact, it can be a deal breaker for some people. They don't want to have anything to do with you because they fear, even though you can promise them left and right, and you can keep that promise, that they will never be mentioned or they'll never show up or whatnot. But people can be really fickle about it. Ficky. Um, so, you know, getting back to it, whatever may happen to us after we pass on, leave this um, awesome body, hopefully, that does break down. It does cause us pain and turmoil, but can be really fucking cool. Um, I mean, is it nothing but blackness at the end? Maybe. But maybe it's only blackness to our conscious mind. Maybe on a deeper level, we're rejoining that energy flow and rejoining ancestors and people that came before us, other animals, you know, hell, maybe even some distant matter that came from a distant planet of an ancient civilization flowed to ours and would say, "Hey, what's up, y'all? Wow, I never met y'all before." Of course, we're not going to be able to talk, but oh, it's amazing to think about for me, and it's pretty cool. Anyway, bit of a ramble, going on 21 minutes. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Remember, you're awesome. Never let the world tell you otherwise. And maybe I made sense, maybe I didn't, but there's my thoughts. Ramble as they are. I just got home. I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go get something to eat. But stay safe, stay sane. Remember, you're awesome. Never let the world tell you otherwise. See ya.